Hey, real quick before we get in, I just want to give you a heads up. This one's a little bit different. It's more of a casual conversation where I break down and explain and talk through why I decided to make a brand new mini course called the Virtual Internship. You'll learn all about it as we get into it. And by now I've linked it below. So if you want to check it out, then it's linked below. But let's get into it. Let me explain why I created this and why you may need this, especially if you're early in your coaching career. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back. Today, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I want to kind of walk you through some ideas I have and really the rationale or reason why I built a brand new mini course that I'm tentatively calling the Virtual Internship, but I don't know if that's a proper name. And we'll get into all that. And by the time you hear this, then it's probably already out. But I poured myself a latte. I have this new latte machine at home. It's just a Keurig latte machine, but it gets the job done. And I just want to talk through kind of why I decided to do this. This one's a little bit more informal, as you probably can already tell just from my tone and the way that I'm trying to deliver this. I got some great feedback. A friend of mine messaged me and said that I should be a bit more casual in these, which is hard because I do these at home. I do these talking to a camera, which feels awkward. And so I kind of naturally turn into presentation mode in that moment, right? Or when I put the camera on. Because there's no one else around here, right? If you guys were in the room with me, then it would feel a lot more casual and more back and forth and all those good things. But doing these things at home alone is a bit challenging, a little bit unique. So anyways, today what I want to talk about is why I decided to build this kind of mini course. And it's not done yet. I've got about halfway through it all. The goal today would be to finish it. And my goal is to keep it under an hour. I think I'll be able to do that. And really what it is it's kind of like a field guide. I would call it an operating manual or operations manual, but it's going to be videos as well. For some reason, manual to me sounds like kind of a handout or something like that. So, but it's going to be this kind of field guide for younger, early career coaches, probably tailored to coaches that are fresh out of maybe their undergrad. Maybe they just got their CSCS. Maybe they just landed their first or second internship. Maybe they're in a grad assistantship, or maybe they just got hired out of that grad assistantship or undergrad and they're kind of in their first big role as an assistant. So probably strength coaches, you know, between the ages of kind of 20 to 26-ish. And then maybe for some of those who are kind of taking GA-ships a little bit later, but definitely in your 20s. Now, everything I'll say in the video or in the course, will resonate with everyone. But I wanted to really make that for younger coaches just because I've seen not only what separates good from bad, but I think how the industry has changed over the past 15 years. And specifically, I think with social media and access to information and content, all those things, that it's made it a little bit more challenging, especially more challenging than when I started in the field. You know, I started in the field in, oh gosh, I'm dating myself now, but 2010 basically is kind of when I really got going. So it's been 15 years. And I've been training athletes for 15 years, but in 2010, social media wasn't as big. And so just times have changed just in regards to that. And then I think what's come with that is just how younger coaches present themselves and behave in environments where they're constantly being evaluated. The thing with internships and grad assistantships, and even in your first couple years coaching, you're being evaluated all the time, whether that's from a direct supervisor, whether that's from athletes, whether that's from support staffs, coaching staffs, administrative staffs, or obviously kind of your S&C staffs around you, right? Everyone's kind of always evaluating. And so I think the goal of the mini course and the takeaway for all of this is that people will always talk behind your back. That's going to happen. But you might as well try to control that narrative and make sure what they're saying behind your back is positive. So I want to kind of just brainstorm and walk through some of the ideas that I cover in it, and then maybe even get feedback from you guys, see what you guys think about those. Let's talk through kind of how I've approached making the mini course. I've already mentioned who it's for. I've mentioned that it's only about an hour in length. I broke it down into the four biggest, I guess, modules. The first one is professionalism, punctuality. And so in there, I'm going to cover kind of punctuality, being on time, when to show up, and then presence. And then we get into appearance and etiquette, which I'm not the guy that's necessarily trying to tell you how to dress, but I've seen what doesn't work, and I've seen coaches make actual mistakes there. I then get into preparation and readiness. We'll talk about what you should be doing before and after each lift, and then what you should be doing during those lifts as well. Engagement and communication, where we'll talk about building staff relationships, and then how you communicate to other coaches, and then the athlete themselves. The way that I talk to my athletes now is not how I talk to them back in the day, right? When I first got started, I was much more buttoned up in the way I communicate. Now, I still am buttoned up in some regard, but how I act now to my athletes is not how I acted then. And because then I had to earn their respect. Now I've had 15 years of experience. I've had relationships and those types of things. So those relationships come maybe a bit easier. But even still, there's certain athletes or certain times that I have to act a certain way. And then other times where I could change that hat and maybe act another way. But early in your career, you should default towards a more buttoned up approach for sure. And again, because you're always being evaluated. An early career coach's environment, everyone around you probably has some influence on what happens next, right? And the goal is to earn a next opportunity, whether it's at your current place or get recommended for something else. So we'll talk through some of that, and then what we get into is just kind of post training, what you should be doing, how you should be kind of learning from each session, and then I finally finish with some career advice stuff and just kind of how you can approach your early career to gain momentum and set you up for later in your career. And so hopefully that gives coaches, early coaches, young coaches, a nice roadmap to just follow, to think through. You're going to digest this in hours, so it's not going to be life-changing or groundbreaking, but if you apply what I say in it, then undoubtedly you'll stand out. And that's the goal of taking these early career opportunities, is that you stand out, you impress, and then that would obviously build. No different than a ladder, right? I'm just trying to take a step to the next opportunity. And so those would be the lessons that I kind of go through. And this isn't supposed to be something where I don't know, yell from an ivory tower or I'm putting myself on a pedestal. The reality is I've made those mistakes. I've been in those positions, and I wish somebody gave me the game. I wish somebody taught me. And I've had some incredible mentors that were able to walk me through and teach me the game before I made mistakes. But certainly I've made some mistakes myself. How I learned and adapted early in my career set me up for that momentum and that progress. And again, I mentioned I've had 4 internships, and then I've had a ton of really exciting opportunities early in my career. Specifically, if you don't know kind of my backstory, I was 23 when I got hired as an assistant in the NBA, and then at 25 I became the head strength coach in the NBA. And then certainly programming and coaching is part of earning those opportunities, but they're not the only reason you earn those opportunities. If you're just a good kind of strength coach, you're not going to get far enough. You're probably not going to reach your goals. The goal, although that's redundant, the goal is to be a good strength coach and a good teammate and a good person. And when you combine all of those, then opportunities will find you. At least they seem to have found me, and I want to share with you guys in hopes that they would find you. So that's kind of what I'm thinking through. I hope that you guys find it useful. Again, more early coaches would find it more useful, but I want to share that. If you got feedback on it, if you think through kind of some mistakes you've made, some things that you think might be worth sharing, then give me a shout. You can comment here. You can send me a message. You can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram. And then when it drops, you guys should definitely check it out if this sounds of interest. So